Hello, everybody. I don't know if it's good morning or good afternoon, but we're awfully glad to be here. I want to introduce who's with me at the table. Tony Simotas, a staff member. Susie Rivera, board member. Board chair Kathy Godfrey, and our newest employee, Julius John, who will be serving as artistic director, Dr. Julius John. And he is a 20-plus year faculty member of Bethune-Cookman College, is tenured, and his dissertation was on systemic racism. Our updates are, we are pleased to announce that our PPP number 2 was fully forgiven, and we have received not one, but now 2 shuttered venue grants through the federal government. Funding from all of these sources, including the federal government and the state of Florida, brings $250,000 of new revenue to Madcow Theater.
Thank you. My first question is, would you like to finish it?
Please, thank you. Secondly, the theater has engaged Barbara Chandler, who was up here a little earlier, as our DEI consultant. She'll be spending 4 months with us doing training for the staff, the board, and artists. We're very excited about that. Number 3, in the period of June 2020 through June 2021, during a pandemic, the theater paid 250 artists over $500,000 in fees and salaries. Those are our updates.
Thank you. Questions?
Am I allowed to ask a question? I know there was a lot of public comments on this project. I can go, okay. So I noticed in your proposal, which was a good one, I thought, that you indicated a new accounting service. And I heard through the public comments, there were quite a bit of concern about these late payments. So can you just explain to us, is that the new accounting service that you have, and what is that going to bring to the table for you?
So during the pandemic, we had several think tank-like committees who helped us develop some new systems. And one of those systems was to look at our accounting services. So not only do we have an outside service now, but we also use something called Gusto and Veeam that track payments and deposit them immediately into somebody's checking account. And so that's done a lot for, I'll call it the automation, and we've had that system perhaps about 6 months.
So so the system has only been implemented for 6 months, but do you see it as a part of the remedy of the concerns that are coming from these artists about the delayed payments?
Yes, I think many of the concerns are from many years ago, but this process that we're using now really just ramps up the ability of the theater to do things more professionally. And it's, of course, cost us money, and it is something that we're going to stick with.
So do you have at this time, any outstanding late payments to artists or any vendor?
No, we do not.
Oh, me money. So,
This lady right here is owed money right now.
I'm still owed $30 for when I did a warehouse
Please,
gig.
no public comment now. That was only the beginning.
But I'm just trying
Nancy,
to
I had
prove that it's
sitting
still
on
going
a few
on.
years ago, I asked you the question, historically,
don't allow lies.
current.
We don't
And I
allow
was
lies.
asking about this, and you said that you were taking steps to ensure that people were being paid on time and these sorts of things. But the number of shows that you program, I serve on several boards of theaters. You have to take care to only really extend yourself to budget. So this proposal, again, I'm wondering what safeguards are in place that you're going to meet payroll and be able to meet all of your obligations when the financials don't seem to support it right now. It anticipates, as all theaters do, you know, sales and sponsorships, but given past behavior, past performances, especially coming off a COVID year, this seems incredibly risky. What is the safety net to make sure people are safe?
Well, first and foremost, we've reduced the number of productions that we're doing. And we've also reduced the number of equity artists that we'll be hiring. And of course, many of you may know that Mad Cow pays all artists, and we typically employ roughly 30 to 35 equity artists per year. So we'll be doing fewer of those contracts. So that, number one, reduces our operating expenses significantly. We've also reduced the length of time that each production is going to be presented. So whereas previously we would do a production for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we're now down to 2 or 3 weeks. And we also, I'm so sorry, we also have an operating reserve now, which we didn't have before.
How much is that reserve?
$75,000.
Because one of the areas we're expected to evaluate is operational readiness. I'm trying to look at, you know, the standing. So.
Okay, another question, Ms. You indicated in your report about the audit pending. What is the status of your audit at this time?
Our audit is been received, it's been submitted and received. And we intend our audit for year ending 2021 will be present roughly December 1.
Any other questions or comments?
Question. There was a comment earlier, someone who's speaking about costumes and props and things like that they had to purchase it out of their own expenses. What is your, as an organization, how do you reimburse, or is there any reimbursement where they're responsible for their own costumes or anything like that? I'm sure if I'm not allowed to ask this question, but do you guys have a policy going forward, or what that will look like for future productions?
Well, that comment was a very, it was a narrow comment. The theater has costumes that are paid for and designed for all of our main stage. So those are the bigger productions that we do. And in that case, no one provides their costume, although occasionally, like many theaters, we rent shoes and skirts and, you know, hats from someone from time to time as part of the equity contract, and we use that for both equity and non-equity people. Some of our readings, and our Spanish theater program was a part of our reading series, there really aren't a lot of costumes used. Sometimes people want to have a costume and they might decide to bring it in, but I think that if you had seen these shows, you would know that these were beautiful readings that met the need of the audience. So I'm not quite sure where some of that came from, to be honest with you.
The director of the program.
What is your split between earned and contributed?
I would say pre-pandemic, Keith, 50-50.
Now?
You know, I don't know. I guess we'll all know, right, in perhaps a year or two when we get through this. And, you know, of course, fingers are crossed that people start to come back to indoor theater.
That is fine.
Is there anything else?
I just want to make a comment and just congratulate you on, I did make a comment here about you're partnering with the Arbor School that provides sensory-based curriculum for children with autism. Could you just if you have a moment,
Sure.
talk about that?
Through the Edith Bush Institute, there are opportunities to meet other nonprofits, including those outside of the arts sector. So Mad Cow hooked up with the Arbor School. The executive director is Wendy Blair, and we have been working with Wendy to not only bring live performance to her school for ages really elementary through high school, but we are also getting ready to bring her high school students to the theater because they really want to help us build a set. And so, you know, we're gonna take all kinds of precautions, of course, but having that combination of these, you know, challenged students with our professionals, we're really looking forward to it because we think it's a good collaboration.
Thank you, that's our time, thanks.
That's your time.
Next
Thank
is
thank
the
you.
Bach Festival Society of Winter Park.